Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. Whereas we heard this morning from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, 1 to 12. Maybe today we begin by asking ourselves questions, As a person, what is your highest aspiration in life? What is your biggest dream? What do you want to achieve in life? What is your ambition? Perhaps to attain the highest level in your career, to be among the best, to be successful, to be outstanding, to be prominent. We all have wonderful dreams, wonderful ambitions, and we work vigorously to achieve them. Beautiful. Even those who have retired from active career and active service, as it is now, what do you desire? What's your ambition? Now let's go to the other side of life, spiritual life. Just as we target to attain excellence and to be successful in our chosen careers, what is my target in my spiritual life? If the scale is between 1 and 10, where am I in my spiritual growth and development? Have I ever desired to be a saint? Has it crossed my mind as an ambition, as something achievable? Almost every day within our liturgical worship, we celebrate memorials, feasts, and solemnities of our brothers and sisters, certain men and women, the saints. And today, in a special way, we celebrate the feast of all the saints, meaning the saints we know and those unknown to us. Our brothers and sisters, people of our faith, men and women who lived exceptional life of holiness and prayer. They are now our models and our heroes. Today, we honor them. We celebrate their memories and their achievements. We ask for their help, their intercessions. And we also desire to be inspired by their stories and by their experiences. But how did they become saints? Because we all know that nobody is born a saint. And also when we go to the pages of their history and their stories, we could also find that some of them had horrible lifestyles at one point in their journey. So how did they become saints? Some of them sacrificed their lives for the sake of Jesus Christ and the gospel. Some of them did extraordinary things. Some of them, however, did ordinary things in extraordinary ways. We too can be saints. We can make it also one of our ambitions. If being saint means to be excellent, to be one of the best, to be successful, then sainthood should be also our ambition. And we all are called to become saints, and we shouldn't miss that opportunity. So how do we do it in our everyday life? How do we fulfill or achieve this ambition to become saints? Maybe we take it this way, that in our everyday life, we take it from there to build up our spiritual life. First of all, we must begin by knowing ourselves, to understand yourself, your strength, your weaknesses, the way you react to things, the things that fill your minds, the things that hinder your spiritual growth and development. In the medical field, if you are diabetic, they will advise you to avoid sugary things. If you are asthmatic, you'll be advised to avoid smoke and other stuff. And some people don't take in spicy foods because it's not good for their system. And the essence of all these medical instructions and advice is that you may have a good life and perhaps your health improve. In the same vein, we must also find out that there are certain things that are poisonous or that could damage our spiritual life and our moral system. That when we take them in, they will corrupt our spiritual life. What are those things? Each person needs to figure it out. The things you do that eventually you see yourself, you take one step forward and then 3 steps backward. What makes it that way? What is hindering my spiritual growth and development that is not steady? Why is it that my spiritual life is not improving every day? Rather, I go forward, then I go backward. There are things, when I do them, I become less a Christian and less a priest. I must discover the things that are not good for my spiritual life and for my moral system. I like to use that expression. Our spiritual life, indeed, is allergic to certain things. We need to find them out because the saints discover themselves. They discover things that hinder their spiritual growth and they took care of them. So the first step towards being a saint or improving our spiritual life is to understand, this is me. These things don't work for me. These things are not good for my system and for my spiritual well-being. Number 2, in our everyday life, towards building a good spiritual life and towards becoming a saint, we must always remember that there is a CCTV camera actually recording everything that I do, things I don't do, I fail to do, and even my thoughts. You know, as kids, even as adults, when we want to do naughty things, we take some precautions to cover our tracks so that nobody catches us and nobody sees us. Often we make sure that our parents have all gone away and nobody is around. Then we lock the door, we close the window blinds, we take all kinds of measures to do those things because we don't want someone to see us. And we are not very proud of it, but we are okay if nobody sees us. And when we have taken those measures to cover our tracks, we have that kind of fake assurance that we are okay. Security, fake innocence. In as much as I am not caught, in as much as nobody has seen me, my records are fine. Because nobody wants to be caught. Unfortunately, God's own CCTV, his eyes, can never be hidden. We can never hide ourselves from there. Unfortunately, before God, we have no privacy. So, the awareness of a CCTV camera, monitor, installed or mounted somewhere, that awareness controls the way we act, regulates our behavior, and conditions the way we behave when there are cameras looking at us. Because nobody would like to be caught breaking the law, trespassing, or even overspeeding. You know, on the motorway, I'll use that as an example. The speed limit is 70. But you discover that people actually overspeed, even 80 and 100. But you discover one thing. As soon as they approach the camera, they slow down immediately because they wouldn't like to be caught. Once after the camera, they zoom up again, even up to 90. Now, if the camera around makes me, or they make me to behave well, to be a good citizen, then if I have the consciousness that God's own camera, his eyes are always on me, it will make me to actually comport myself every day, live my life as if someone is recording even what I'm doing. I tell you this experience. There was a priest who had a funeral in his parish. Not here, please. Other priests joined him for the mass. Then after the mass, they went to the sacristy. It seemed that the priest didn't have a wonderful relationship with the family during the preparation of that funeral. So when he got to the sacristy, he started talking about that family. And he was not saying nice things about them. Very horrible things he was narrating to the priest around. And then the parishioners run to the sacristy. Father, your microphone is on. I can see the expression on your faces, disappointed, ashamed. Things we do when nobody is looking at us. Things we do off camera. The sense with the people who live the transparent life, whether there is a camera or no camera, whether the microphone is on or off, they are confident knowing that if my records are to be played, they will be fine. And that is why the gospel of today said, having played their record, their CCTV, God said their reward is indeed great. I don't know how it will be if God plays the records of my life. But knowing that there is a CCTV, a divine CCTV, monitoring all that I do, that shouldn't make me to be afraid, but it makes me to live my life. I'm an authentic person and also according to the expectations of the Almighty. When I was doing my driving lesson, my driving instructor told me that when you drive, the first thing you do when you get into any road is to scan for the speed limits and also the kind of camera. And then just know there are certain cameras on certain roads. Then he added and advised me, the best way to actually drive and to be a good driver is to drive everywhere, believing there is a camera recording your drive. How I wish we can always live with that consciousness, knowing that I don't need to close the window, I don't need my mom to go away, and I don't need to close the door, I don't need to make sure that nobody is seeing me, I don't need to switch off my microphone to speak, in as much as I know that what I'm saying is true, honest, transparent, and when it is played before me, I'll be so proud of it. So, dear friends, as we celebrate today the Feast of All Saints, not all of us can do extraordinary things. No. Not all of us can die for the faith because we may not have the circumstance. But we all can do ordinary things with a touch of Christianity. All of us can do ordinary things with a touch of Christ-like character. All of us can do ordinary things, bearing in mind that whatever we do should enhance our spiritual growth, and those things should be so transparent that I am not to be afraid at the last day when my record is to be played.